welcome to a brand new episode of the Yexle podcast series. Joining you is your host, Akhil Navluri. In this podcast session, we would be looking at the most important aspect of IT, which is project delivery. So I'm very much honored and privileged to welcome the three eminent leaders of project delivery to this podcast session. So I would request each one of you to introduce yourselves to our audience.
Hi, Akhil. No, thanks for having me. I'm Kieran McDade. So I've been delivering business change through digital transformation for close to a decade. I've worked both client side and services side on a range of project delivery models and a range of roles from business analyst to tester, etc. I've been working with Appian for about the last 6 years, and I'm Yexle's chair of our delivery guild, where we set all our standards of how we deliver our projects. So really looking forward to today's conversation.
So hi, this is Amitesh this side. Thanks for having me in your podcast, Akhil. So I'm a delivery manager with Yexle, and almost all my career I've been working with Appian plus other low-code, no-code tools. So I have a good understanding in the tech space as well as the delivery space, which I'm looking over now. So yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, Akhil.
Hi, I'm Basmati.
Thank you, Akhil, for organizing this podcast. I have around 20 plus years of experience, in which 12 plus years in delivering high, critical, and complex projects. Here in Yexle, I'm delivering the SS portal, which is the cornerstone in enhancing the employees' experience and operational efficiency. Happy and excited to be in this podcast.
So along with them, we have a surprise for you. So welcoming my colleague, Devendra Satish Valivela, who has joined Yexle as a graduate trainee, who's also based out of Hyderabad, India, and who has come up the ranks. So the main reason of having him for this podcast session is I wanted to understand the perspective of a developer who has started implementing the Appian projects. So to start with the podcast, tell me about it. So what is the key success factors to delivering a project?
I think when we talk about key success factors, I like to keep it along the lines of the basics. So I'll talk through three things. So I think it's important we have clear objectives and scopes. We've got good communication and feedback loops with the team, and we've got a skilled and committed team. So if I just spend a moment on each of those, so I think when I talk about objectives and scope, we need to know what value are we delivering. So a project started to effectively deliver a change, and that's funded based off a business case. So it's important that we understand what the primary goal is there. And also one thing that affects how we deliver the project is there an external event that is driving this date. So it might be retirement of an existing system we're replacing, or a new service going online where we've got no control over moving that date. Or are we looking for more of a we've got an existing service, we want to improve our efficiency, increase our quality, reduce our defects, etc. And that will help us decide how we deliver the project. But it's really important we always use that business value day to day in the project to drive the decisions we're making, so we deliver the most value. And as we deliver in Yexle, most of our projects here are distributed. So we're working across different time zones, we're working across different cultures. So communication's at the center of what we do. So we need to make sure we bring everyone into the project team, and they all understand what I've just discussed. What is that business value? What are we delivering? Right. And to make sure that we get good feedback. So I always think like a simple use case in production is far more valuable than the sophisticated design in slides. The team can start to get feedback from the customer on that. And then on that final point, like we need a skilled and committed team. So all the highest performing teams I've worked with have had a really good trust amongst them, and they spent time getting to know each other and contributing to the discussions a little bit outside their role, and really working together and not being siloed in their individual practice. And that's really important through the points I've sort of discovered, to make sure we've got a good understanding end to end across the project team and can deliver that business value that we set out to at the start of the project.
Kieran, what are the efforts that you exactly take to bring everyone together, like in the team, like everyone is on the same page? Like you have huddle calls, or do you have an introductory call? Like how does it go exactly?
I think it's important, at the start of the project. So most of our projects are delivered using the Scrum framework. So when we kick off a project, we're typically starting with a sprint zero, and we like to bring our whole team into those discussions. So everyone, even if they're not fully participating in every workshop, etc., they hear directly from the product owners and the SMEs about what do they need, why they're doing it, what are they trying to achieve. So immediately we're making sure that there's no secondhand information. It's all direct, and the whole team are part of that. And also what that helps us do is make sure that everyone's starting to talk together and building trust and knowledge and understanding each other, and that takes time in a team. We need to go through those stages of team development, and it's really important that we continue that throughout the project, so we keep everyone involved and don't end up building mini silos in the project team.
Exactly. So it's mean like, just having everyone connected and united actually will make a lot of difference. So that's really remarkable to know, Kieran. So Amitesh, in what as a follow-up to what Kieran has specified. So Amitesh, remember me and you, we were part of a project, and that was belonging to the North European side to the region of the finance domain. So back then, you were based in the UK and I was based in India. So I just wanted to understand, like, how does this model impact the project's performance?
I think, Akhil, a good question. And for in our suggestion, we always suggest an offshore on-site model because giving an hybrid approach, delivering commercial value to the customers, and also giving a productivity almost throughout the day. So we have people working with them in their time zones, as well as when they are ideally asleep, we have another team working around the clock to deliver value.
Right.
Also, this helps in giving clients access to the offshore resources, are which tend to have a natural inclination towards technical expertise, and then placing a few of those resources on site also help to handhold the customers, look at anything major during the day, have any critical conversations, or drive any meetings which are required in handling projects.
Yeah. So I really have a curiosity to ask you this, Abhish. So, like, how are the resources exactly planned? Like, this person has to go on site and he needs to stay offshore. So, how are those things analyzed in the first place?
So basically, it depends on the project requirements, right? The keystone of this is the project requirements. So looking at the size of the project, the data requirements around the project. So just giving you an example, there could be a requirement where European region data cannot be accessed from outside Europe, right? So to solve any production issues or look at any production related data, we might have to have resources which are located in the Europe region, right? So
Yeah.
tackling these situations or having an understanding of such parameters help us decide as to uh, what is the team going to look like and how would they be co-located or scattered around the geographies.
That's interesting to know. So I think I just got my answer. So that ticks the whole boxes for me. So now, as a continuation with what Amitesh has specified. So Vasamati, like, I just wanted to understand this from your end. Like, how best do you augment the teams to suit the client requirements and the customer successes?
It is indeed a good question, Akhil. For any, understand the project scope, right? Especially the business objective and the purpose of the implementation of that project, right? So we should have a clear outline of the project goals, the deliverables, the timelines, and the constraints. Next, we identify both the technical and the soft skills requirement, along with the expertise that need to complete the project successfully. Then we will
Yep.
break down the task for estimating and do the resource loading as per the implementation plan, right? So for team augmentation, effective team augmentation, right? There are 3-4 things that we will consider, right? Clear communication, ensure that the new team member understand the roles and the project objective. Then the onboarding process, we have a effective ESS tool for the smooth onboarding and integrating the new member. We'll have the continuous feedback, maintain the regular check-ins to address any issues and to keep the project on track. Also, we'll choose the individuals who will mess with the team, right? Culturally fit with the team
Yeah.
by bringing in the team building activities. We'll have the team building activities involved so that we have the effective collaboration and
Yeah.
things on that. Yes.
That's great to know, Vasu. So like, since you were mentioning about a particular point, I just wanted to ask in depth about it. So can you just help me understand, like, what is a resource loading supposed to be in project delivery?
Yeah, resource loading, if you consider a project, right, note that all the team members from day one will be required for till the end, right, to complete a project. So initially, if to start with, we might need a business analyst and the architect, right, to streamline the to bring out with the architecture plan or stuff. Then later we will be looking for a developer, and if it is a test driven project, then we'll load a minimal testers as well, right? And then so in the peak size, there will be a peak team, peak plan, where we'll have the peak size of team. And after development is completed, we will ramp down few of the members, and the curve, right, it will be kind of a bell curve. It will go in even in the project deliverable. So that is the resource loading for a project is about, right? So from the start till the end, at what time, how many members or the how many resources that mean we need in a project to complete the deliverable. So that is all is about the resource loading.
That's good to know, Vasu. So
Just to add to this, right, and this feeds into the question you asked me before, probably gives a
yeah,
full circle. So even if you think in terms of planning, right, so a project starts with planning and ends with a hypercare situation, right? So at the very start of the projects, you might not need your developers, but you might need your planners, who would be your delivery manager, your architects, and your leads, right? So you need the key people to plan out the whole process of the project, and then we have the project moving in its normal state, and at the end of the project we have hypercare, right? So hypercare being us seeing that there are no production issues, solving them at as priority. So this
yeah,
also leads to having the resources on site being available during hypercare as well as the
Exactly.
starting meeting, right? So
Initial.
this all clubs in hand, and it all moves in a full circle.
Karen, would you like to add something to this?
The real key thing there is that we've got the right resources at the right time.
Right.
At Yexle, we've got a range of people with specialist skills and general skills. So as Vasu mentioned there, being able to bring on some test automation skill set when we need it, because you're not going to need that for the whole project, because at the start you don't have anything built to use that. The same way with, for example, RPA practice. So RPA developers aren't typically required for the whole project if it's across a range of different use cases. So we would bring those on just for the specific sprints where we're deliver that piece of work, and then they could move on to another project, potentially with another client. So we've got a lot of opportunity to ramp up and ramp down resources as we need them.
Got it. So basically, it's like how the scope demands it. That's how the people fill in. So finally, moving on to you, Satish. So Satish, I quite understand that as a developer, it's a fairly new topic for you. So Satish, I just wanted to understand this. Like, I mean, what is your expectation, or let's say, like, how do you view the project delivery, and how important do you think is it for you on the same?
Yeah, thank you, Akhil, for this question. Mainly, it focuses on these points. First is team coordination, because we don't know how team will works. So basically, while practicing, we are only practicing by our own self. We don't know how to do with the team. Secondly, we don't know how to interact with the client. So we will learn how to interact with client in this while going into project. And
Yeah,
third one is mainly you will acquire new skills by using use case scenario, and you
right.
will put your learned skills in this project. And fourth one is like mainly we will use agile methodology, and we will learn agile methodology while going into a project.
That's good, Satish. So before we conclude our podcast session, so let's have a quick rapid fire. I just wanted to understand, like, suppose there is a team member such as me. So how could he act, or let's say, be an asset to the job of project delivery? So starting with you, Karen.
I think for any member of the team, the most important thing to me is be proactive. So ask questions. If you've got an idea, make your voice heard. You might have seen something that no one else has seen. So embed yourself in the team and be proactive.
That's good. So Amitesh, what's your take on this?
I would say the team needs to be focused and everybody needs to be on the same page about the goal of the hour, right? So we have a main project goal, but there are always many goals throughout the project. So the whole team needs to be aware about what we are working towards and what we are adding on to. So yeah, that would be the A1 for me.
That's good. So, Vasu, how do you conclude this?
Yeah, for me, two things, right? One is like actively participating in the meetings and share the feedback, which will improve in our overall plan, and also stay flexible. We are in the agile world, and we are delivering most every project in the agile way, right? So we should be adaptable to the changing requirements and ready to shift our priorities as needed, which will help in navigating the dynamics nature of the project.
That's fantastic to hear. So to summarize our podcast in a nutshell, today we were looking at what are the key success factors to project delivery, and how does an on-site and an offshore model impact the project's performance. Along with that, how best are the team augmented to best suit the client requirements and customer successes, and finally, the perspective of a developer with respect to that of project delivery. So I must say it was an amazing time and an amazing session to interact with you all. I could understand a lot of your use cases which were really useful for me and important. And I mean, you just came across with a lot of key insights and key information. And I'm sure the people belonging to the Department of Project Delivery, developers, and people belonging to the other spectrums of IT would completely relate to this. So on that note, this is your host, Akhil Lavluri, signing off. We would be back with another brand new episode of the Yexle podcast series very soon. Till then, goodbye, take care, and stay tuned.